Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast, our brand new episode this week. As we said last week, the season's done, so now is prime time to really start on these lists that we really enjoy doing it this season. Um, Probably a bit earlier than we usually do them. We usually do them kind of obviously last season we had the Europa League final and a Scottish Cup to contend for at the end of the season, so we had to wait. But obviously the Aberdeen game happened yesterday. We saw a lot of rotation in that team, kind of what was expected when we spoke about it last week. And now it's time to really look at each individual player, see how they've done this season, and then see what our opinion is to move them on, keep them for part of the rebuild next season, or kind of been a theme of this whole season is just time's up with this squad. Like time is up, so players have been here too long, and it's time to go. We'll put them in there, but as always, let us know your thoughts on where we place these players. If you agree, disagree, let us know. Follow us over on Twitter as well. Every other Saturday one, we're getting a lot of traction over there at the moment, posting rumours for transfers and stuff. So follow us over there, and we'll get into this tier list. First on the list, Scott Arfield. Scott
Oh,
Arfield this season, not really seen too much game time. Kind of he played a bit at the start of the season. That pictures there when we played in PSV. Since then, he's kind of contributed here and there off the bench with a goal. Obviously the Aberdeen game, I think, is what he'll be known for this season in the last couple of minutes. But it's time up for Arfield, surely.
time, time is up for Arfield. Or is he maybe, I don't know, I could maybe see Arfield staying and being a rotational kind of player, sort of kind of what he's been this season. But for you and I, probably time is up for Scott Arfield.
Well, that's what Michael Beale said in his press conference ahead of the Aberdeen game there. He said they have offered a couple of players contracts that are going out of contract, and it's not Morelos or Kent. So right away, I'm signalling Arfield and probably Ryan Jack will be here for another year. But I just think it's an absolute waste of time having players that have been here for this long just because they know what it means. Arfield's shown this season that he can't start games. He can make an impact off the bench, aye, but we should be looking at bringing in either Alex Lowry for that position or just bring in somebody else, a young player that's hungry to go make an impression, and hopefully is Scottish as well. Because I think the only reason he'll be kept is because he kind of works under that homegrown quota, and we can use him for Europe. But we need better than that to compete in Europe, and he's done well for the club. I'm
Oh, he's done really well.
not against what Scott Arfield's done for Rangers. I think he's been a really good player over the years. But where my criticism started to really creep in was last season when we were still relying on Scott Arfield to come off the bench, even till that Old Firm game at Hampden. Oh, who do you look at? Oh, it's still Scott Arfield coming off the bench. That's where my problem is. I just don't think he's good enough anymore, and I think it should be time to go and move him on.
I'm in the same boat as you, mate. I fully agree.
Um,
This one's a no-brainer, and it's time's up. That is time's up. I mean,
Obviously, you probably put him in sell because you'll get a fee for
oh,
him.
sell time up. I don't really
Anywhere
care.
bin.
I don't need to watch this guy play football anymore. I'm happy, fine and dandy. I mean, even when we won the league, was never convinced with this guy. He's had a couple of decent performances in recent memory with Celtic Park and whatever, but still falls asleep at the back post all the time. And as I say, the only quality he's got is he can deliver a ball. I thought Yalma, he showed to me what I want to see from him, which is he can bomb forward and he can do what's the most important part of his job, defending. So Barisic, it's time's up or sell.
Yeah, I think obviously his time is up. He's been at the club since 2018 now. Gerard's first season, we've now went through
That's
Gerard, Gio, and now we're on Michael Beale, and he's still the starting left back. That can't continue. We probably will get a fee for him due to him being in the Croatia team and all
uh,
whatever comes with it. We'll probably recoup some money for him, which is fine. I think we only signed him for about 2 million. So maybe the question to ask on him: do you think you've got your money worth for Borna Barisic? Because obviously he's been here. I rated him at the start up. I thought he was a really decent left back. He's really petered off after we won the league. I thought he's been really poor. Shite baggery, we'll put him under. Should have made a tier for that, shite
aye,
baggery.
yeah,
But
definitely
just
should
put
have
only
it.
him in it. But I think he's really petered off in terms of that. He's had a couple of decent showings here and there, but it's never been good enough consistently at left back. But if we got our money worth, if we bought him for 2 million, we sell him for 2 million. If we kind of had a left back that's kind of been stable for all the
I
years, whether you
mean,
like it or
aye,
not.
money worth, probably, aye.
But we've not enough trophies, so
No, not enough trophies, no. And I mean, another thing that frustrates me is with the with the throw-ins takes forever. I'd love to taser him, throw it faster. You know what I mean? I'd love to just if we had people on the sidelines tasering him instead of taking 2.5 hours to throw the ball into the park. But no, in terms of how much we signed him for him and what obviously he's contributed, probably say, it's probably
but
worth
then
it.
that's the thing. Let's see if all of these players and we sort of rebuilded after the heroics of last season. These
Mm,
players would be remembered a lot more fondly than they're going to be, which is the annoying part. Like Barisic has never been. Definitely, you've never been his biggest fan, 100%. But I think you would have maybe looked at him a bit differently if he bowed out at the end of last season. That was him gone. But he's kind of stayed in a season too much, like a
mm.
lot of these
A lot
players,
of them.
and
A lot of them.
the reputation's kind of vanished that you had from him. We'll recoup money for Barisic hopefully, and with the rumours of Brandon Williams hopefully coming in for Manchester United. Obviously, Yilmaz having a strong performance,
What
and
I like about the potential signing that boy for United is also can play right back as well. And I sometimes I look at Tav and I'm like, I'm done. Can we get somebody else there? Do you know what I mean? But I like that. I like that he can play left and right. So I sorry mate, I like the idea of signing him.
nah, I think we just need two decent left backs in now. Like, Yilmaz has showed me yesterday. I was impressed, as you say, bombing forward, bombing back, and just
Hopefully the
look
tackle as well.
looking like a left back. I think a lot of people just kind of
Looking
waiting
at
for
left
that
back.
to happen. Especially his height as well, and he's kind of shown that hopefully we're going to be signing a good player there because he's been obviously hit with injuries and stuff this season. But Barisic time's up, I'm afraid. The next one, Ben Davies. I would have said up until yesterday I would have kept him as a rotational centre half. Now I'm selling him. He actually shat it for going through Bojan Miovski yesterday and let him through 1-on-1 with McCrory. It's the price tag again. It's always going to hang on his head. 4 million we signed this guy for. Obviously, Premier League tax and whatever else. Liverpool just mugged us off, realistically, because we've got a centre half who can only play with his Connor Goldson. He can't just lead a defence himself. He's no got the capabilities to go and be hard in the tackle either. That's why I like Suter a lot more for the rest of the season. He's obviously a good ball playing centre half. He's had decent games, but by all means, he's not good enough for where we want to go.
I mean, I probably would sell him, but then also I think about the fact that we can't offload everything in the one window.
But
And
if you get a couple million, he goes back down south
oh, I
again.
totally to
Just
get as you say, agree with you. Liverpool have mugged us off there. Do you know what I mean? He's for me, he's only worth what, 1 or 2 really. To be fair, like I don't think he's worth the price we've paid for him. And obviously he has mistakes in his game, and as you say, he can only play with Connor Goldson.
and he
But I
went
don't
off
know.
injured again as well yesterday. Again, injury prone. He's been sort of plagued with that since he came to the club. He's had a good run, to be fair, since Beals
Most
came
of these
in, and
players.
I just looked most of the players injury ridden. But I went off
You
at
know what
half
it
time
is?
yesterday,
I'm
and
gonna I'm gonna disagree with you. I think another season maybe, as I say, being a rotational centre half, what have you. I don't think we can sell everything in the one window, but for me, I'll probably just put him in the keep, mate. I think he's just rotational, and I don't know. I just think maybe another season just to see. You know what I mean? If there's no improvement, then maybe
but
just off.
then that's where I kind of disagree because I'm like, we paid 4 million for him. We keep him
Mm.
for another season, and we're like, he's not that good anyway. We should have just sell him
Well,
the now.
I
Like
will.
a lot of the problems have been like players not being good enough, and we're just keeping them, loaning them, and then we end up losing them for free or whatever else. I think we can still definitely recoup funds back for Davies and go and buy a centre back that more suits where we want to play.
Mm.
I think he's obviously a good ball playing centre half. It's just yesterday in that Aberdeen game, I can't believe he didn't go through Miovski. He just shat it, and I
No.
think we've seen that quite a few times. Because up until then, I'm like, right, I'm fine with him just staying around and being the guy who'll play on the bench, rotation, whatever. But at 4 million as well that we signed him for.
It's the price tag yet again, as you say, that'll be over his head, and you think you would be able to come in? Do you know what I mean? Obviously playing for Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp and be able to come in and go, do you know what, this is a team where I could lead the defence and form a strong
Yeah,
partnership.
he's just not really vocal enough either, really, is he? I just don't think it's going to work out personally for me with
Maybe in the long
next
run,
season.
absolutely, but I don't know. Maybe personally just me. I don't know. I'll maybe just say another season, as I say, because you can't offload everyone in the one window.
True, true.
I
The
mean,
next
this isn't
one,
even this is the best
next
player
one
in
is
the club.
Cantwell. Obviously, he's just here, just in the door. Won us a game yesterday, and he's just looking like the guy we've needed.
Mm. And he drips in that Drew as well, bro. I'm just putting that out there as well. I was wanting a celebration yesterday. I'm not gonna lie. I was wanting a wee dance. I thought, give me some of that sauce. But I mean, he's only going to get better for us, and he is the best player at the club already, as I say. Sensational goal yesterday, absolutely sensational goal. And as I say, you would look at Cantwell and you think he's not got that about him, but he's got that aggression about him as well, and he'll get right in your face and he'll let you know about it as well. That's what I love about him. And right now, mate, I think he's probably majority of Rangers fans' favourite player.
Nah, he's just come into the club and he's been totally different for anything I could imagined he was going to be. He's come in and he's just dug right in. He's fought for the jersey, fought for every game he's been in. He's obviously contributed now with goals, which is nice to see. Getting assists and just playing all round good football for 90 minutes. And he's that guy. Hopefully, we can then continue to rely on. Obviously, yesterday was just a sort of brief party. Obviously, him winning as a game, but in the future, down the line into next season, he needs to be a match winner for us, and he's going the right way about it. I think he's a lot of Rangers fans are taking to him now. And he's going to be a really important player. Next season is a guy you really want to build the team around. And him and Raskin have been really two breaths of fresh air in this squad. So long may it continue for Todd Cantwell. The next one is Antonio Cholak, obviously signed last summer, started the season on fire. It was like every home game was just a routine victory. He would score 2 goals and we'd win 4-0 under Gio. Then Morelos started to come back into the fold, and we had that really bad period. And he kind of dropped out of the team injured, and he's rarely featured under Michael Beale.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I think he's either 28 or 29 now. He's kind of been a journeyman as well. He's moved around a lot.
As I said before we signed him, what's the point? Because it's a sell for me, personally. Aye, I would
For me, it's also a sell. He's just not the kind of striker that's going to suit us.
no.
He's obviously a really good goal scorer, but
That's all you can
that's
say.
really all he's play. Like, um, he's just a likable guy as well. You want him to do well. You want him
Oh,
to
he's a
be
good looking
something
boy.
different. But I think he's I don't think Michael Beale's going to fancy him personally for what we've seen. Obviously, he had that really good performance away to Hibs were fantastic for the full game really, and he grabbed a couple of goals and he looked a threat that night. And you were kind of thinking, look, is Michael Beale going to start trying to tweak the system to try to get him more involved with the play? And it looked good that night, but since then it's never really happened for Cholak. He's out injured again, and as I say, he's a journeyman. He's kind of moved around a lot, so it wouldn't surprise me if he then goes and moves on again if he's not going to be getting the game time, because realistically we're going to bring in a couple of strikers, and does he really want to play second, third fiddle and not get that many opportunities, especially when he's 29 as well. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him, to be honest, in the summer, because on the other side of the fence, I'm happy enough with keeping him as that third
I'm happy
option.
keeping him in terms of backup, absolutely, but
But you can't be the guy leading your line.
it's different now. Do you know what I mean? You can't. Beale's going to want to bring his own boys in. It's just one of these situations where maybe the manager just don't fit my plans, mate. It's time, as you say, journeyman. Maybe go back into European football, wherever it takes him. But no, he's a really decent forward. That's all you can really say about him.
Aye, we'll see what happens with him. Stephen Davis,
Time's up.
going to be an obvious time's up. He's been injured for
Difficult.
about 6-7 months or something, it feels like now, and he'll probably be gone at the end of the season, retired, I would imagine.
Well, I mean, it's obviously you want to give him that farewell he deserves in terms of playing one more time. You know what I mean? A hard injury, about with. But definitely time's up, man.
It's unfortunate how it's ended for Stephen Davis, because obviously he's been a really, really good servant to the club in 2 spells, and it's just really sad to see his career peter out the way it has, where he's not even going to be on the pitch to really play his last game for Rangers, which is unfortunate, but it's the way it's really happened this season. And Stephen Davis will be moving on this season. Nothing bad to say about the guy, but it's just one of them that's has to come to an end. The next one, Adam Devine, he'll be keep. Personally, I don't know if I fancy him as the predecessor to James Tavernier, but I mean he's been decent when he's featured. He's still young, obviously, and
sorry, but somebody I would just personally, I'd be trying to loan out in the summer, maybe to another Premiership team, just to get him that experience in the league. I mean, he's a worker. That's what I'll say about him. He's a hard worker. But he's definitely a keep. Just for obviously, because he's Scottish and what have you when we're in European football. So he's definitely a keep, mate.
Nah, he's a keep, and obviously the obvious keep, the most obvious keep on this full list. It's Connor Goldson, sitting with all the players that are better than them in that photo. Actually, Goldson is just the GOAT. Like, I will never hear any slander on him. We've said it in this podcast for how long. Goldson is going to be
people's captain.
And you look at the rebuild, and everybody's obviously put out their thoughts on who stays, who goes, all of that jazz. And I've never seen anybody say they would get rid of him, and that's quite a long way. These comments against Hibs, if they want him out, whatever else, people not rating him, but I think he's just shown by a mile he's one of the best signings we've made.
Absolutely, we knew information, Jack. We process and we go forward. He's, as I say, people's captain. There's that, you can't have a bad word about him. I liked the weekend he was getting in about your man that we want to sign there. Probably end up in the Championship. But no, he's up there with Cadwell, as I say, probably Raskin as well. We'll have on there, but he's a devil's keep.
Nah, definitely. Helander is...
Time's up, pal.
I can't believe it's been nearly over a year since we've seen this guy play. The last time he played was St Mirren away. Roof scored a hat-trick and Aribo scored in a 4-0 away win. That was after we beat Braga, I think. And we're still sitting here today. No further knowledge on if he's ever going to play again, how his injury is, and he's still sitting just unknown. Nobody even knows what he does anymore. Helander, time's up, man. I can't believe... Probably the best centre-half at the club and all when he's on his game. Really good ball reader, really good just player. Similar to, see when you look at Davies and Helander, similar in styles, but Helander is just so much better and more physical.
And be on ice, as I call him.
It's
never a mistake in him.
Do you know what? Even looking at that photo, I can't believe he played for us. Like, just looking at him playing a Rangers shirt, I'm like, that didn't happen. Because it's just been that long. But time's up for him.
Time's up, pal. Somebody that's, as I'll say, mate, as I said, probably stealing a wage as well. So
the next one is interesting. A lot of people have kind of went on. I will not turn my back on this boy. I believe in him. I know there's people that say sell, keep if you could get a decent fee from him. I understand, I get it, but I just think of the seriousness of his injury, and he needs the game time, the minutes to get himself back going. I'm still going to back Ianis Hagi, man. I'm keeping him. See that? I totally agree with you. I really like Ianis Hagi. I think he's a good player. I think he's been good in his time there, and he's been really unfortunate to get that injury, and because he would have been a big player for us no matter what in that run that we had last season. Really unfortunate that he missed out on that. He could have been a big player, but he's come back into the team. He's really struggled to get game time. He obviously started the game yesterday. I thought he'd done all right, to be fair, against Aberdeen. I thought he was decent. Hopefully starting to come back to his own. But the question marks I have over Ianis Hagi is the players that we're going to go and sign in the summer. Where does that put him in the pecking order? Because I don't think any manager's really been able to identify Ianis Hagi's best position, where he actually is going to play. We've seen him playing out in the right. We've seen him sort of playing through centrally, where I kind of prefer him. You look at the players that I want an influx of players creating and attacking for us. So I really don't know where Hagi would fit in.
Well, here's my follow-up. I don't know. How many players do you think we're realistically going to bring in the window?
How many realistically do you think? At least over 10.
I don't see over 10. There's no chance.
At least over 10, I think.
No, well, there's no chance of that. There's no chance we sign 10 players in the summer.
We'll clip that and we'll wait and see who we sign.
half of them would have to be for free. There's no chance we sign 10 players in the summer.
Well, looking at it now, we're already going to be signing 2 frees. So there's 2 right away. And then you've obviously got the full window to go.
Then you've got a boy for Norwich as well, who's probably going to come in. There's competition. You know what it is? You're right. I agree with you on that. No manager has probably identified his best position. Then there's the comp bit. Listen, we'll see if he gets the best out of him.
I would keep Hagi. See, 100%, good player, whatever else. But it's like, if an offer comes in, he's probably looking at it our most sellable asset at the moment, with his name and everything that comes with that. Mm-hmm. If you get a £4 or £5 million offer, you're going to take it because realistically,
no, listen, I agree with that in terms of that. Absolutely, I agree with it. I just personally, I'm not going to give up on the boy. I think, you know what I mean. There's a player there. As I say, you give him the time. I don't
Definitely,
know.
Especially if he gets a pre-season under his belt and all. I think that'll be a lot of the...
It's up to him. See, but I would say this summer it's up to Ianis Hagi. Does he want it bad enough? Does he want to be a starter for Rangers? Because it's up to him now. Do you know what I mean?
She obviously signed that contract as well, and there's that.
If anything, Ianis Hagi, if you want to just be a model for Rangers in terms of just wearing the tops to bring the ladies in, you can certainly do that. I just think it's up to him in the summer. You know what I mean? He's got to show Michael Beale how badly he wants it. Like all these players have to show Michael Beale on a daily basis. How badly do you want to play for a club, bring success to our club? And that's probably the biggest problem, is identifying his best position. I like seeing him through the middle. I like seeing him be the guy, create chances and set things up.
See, that's a tricky one. That is a really tricky one because you could go either way with it.
He's definitely not, for me, he's not. I wouldn't play him out in the wings. Do you know what I mean? I don't.
He's just don't get pace, especially after a year out.
I don't think he enjoys it as well. You play him through the middle, as I say, all day long. But no, I would keep him. I'm backing him. I don't care, man. I'm not turning my back on that boy.
But Glenn Kamara is going to be sell.
Can I just say with Kamara, right? Absolutely sell him. He's probably stayed longer than he should have done. He probably should have went in the January window, what have you. It's another guy I feel bad for as well, man. I feel like everybody's just turned their back on him, man. See,
I feel like he's been really poorly treated actually as well.
Yeah, I think it's you can say the same with Morelos. I think Ryan Kent deserves everything that's come to him personally. But I just think Kamara, man, just even when he was playing, do you know what I mean? You remember everyone just saying, obviously, what a steal and what have you. But on his day, mate, he was a top player for us. Do you know what I mean? And
he's a guy that will go with my best wishes. He's obviously going to be sold in the summer. I think he's been a really good servant to the club. Probably, as you say, maybe stayed a bit too long. And you know what I think of it when I think of Kamara is last season, not even a year ago yet. What was that photo with the Scottish Cup winners in the crowd? Yeah, Aribo, Bassey, Kent, Kamara, and Goldson. 4 of them are going to be gone. There's only going to be Goldson left at that point, and he was the one we all thought was going at that time. So it's going to be, it's unfortunate how it's happened for Kamara, but we'll still probably get a good fee as well for him.
Probably the only time he ever struck the ball outside the box in the semi-final, and
exactly, you'll always have that, and it's probably good for him in his career now to go and move on. I just don't understand how for a second or midfield has been that pish all season. I'm not saying he's been great either.
I know,
but he just doesn't ever get a look in anymore, and I think that's maybe Michael Beale's signalling that he's probably going to go. But unfortunate for Glenn Kamara. But next is Tom Lawrence. Obviously going to be a keep. I just really hope he comes back and just stakes his claim to be a real member of that starting 11. Now with Ryan Kent going, he can play off the left now, which is going to be nice to see. Again, another central option. He can play through the middle. I just love the vast amount of positions that Tom Lawrence can go and play, and he's a threat in every one of them. Obviously not seen him enough for Rangers yet, but I can't wait to see him back.
The only question I have is obviously how serious injury is. Are we going to see the same player that we had beforehand?
I know, that's right. It's the same with all long-term injuries. You never really know.
Definitely a keep back, man. And as you say, it'd be exciting to see him play out in the left. But it's a Devil's keep, man.
Nah, just want to see more of him in the Rangers shirt now. Leon King.
Keep.
Leon King's obviously probably going to be staying, but I would send him out on loan, personally. I think Leon King's had a really hard, challenging season for an 18-year-old. Obviously signed a new contract as well, so that keeps him secure up until I think 2025, I believe. So, he came in at a really poor time in the team. I mean, playing next to a different centre half partner each time, and half the time it wasn't even a proper centre half. So, going away to Naples, going away to Anfield, and playing like that, it's just really hard on the guy, and it could have really ruined his career, to be honest, with how bad it was at that time.
Especially how young he was in terms of, you know what I mean, mentally. That can destroy me probably because you know what I mean. So
He needs
no,
to get back out and get playing again, I think. But it
he's,
needs to be the right loan move because there's obviously the ambition that he comes back and he becomes a real starter for Rangers. You need to go to a club that's going to have that same sort of ambition. So it'd be nice to see him go out and loan, play for a season, come back and see how he is then. But for now, aye, probably the best for him.
absolutely. I mean, there's not even any question. I mean, the next one as well. It's another keeping it.
It's another keep, and it's another one you want to see more of this guy.
Up
Obviously,
to him as
it's
well.
been a really hard season for him as well. But hopefully by the end of the season we see him get minutes. He said he's featured here and then. He's had injuries and whatever else happening. And he's just a guy. Especially if you're going to be getting rid of Arfield Davis, Lowry's got to be that guy that comes and takes that spot next.
Absolutely. And as I say, he's coming for the academy. How good he is for me, man. He's got to be fighting, pushing just to get a bit more minutes. I think just to have him, you don't want to rush it with him. Do you know what I mean? That's what I don't like. I feel like obviously with nowadays football is like they just rush it. Do you know what I mean? All out, put him on. He's 19, whatever. I think you want to take your time with him. That's what I like about Michael Beale. Especially with him, he'll know when to give him the minutes, when to play him, and just manage his game time. For me, I just want to see him maybe get more appearances in terms of like cup games, whatever. But I just want to see him play a bit more often, and maybe coming off the bench. But I definitely, he's a guy who's got to be pushing. He's got to be fighting. It's the same as I said with Hadji. Like they've all got to be fighting to show Beale. Do you know what I mean? They want to play for us, so he's definitely a keep man.
No, definitely. And John
Wouldn't even
Lundstrom.
loan him out. I wouldn't. I'm sorry. I wouldn't even loan him out. And all I know that there's a bit you might hang with him, but
No,
I wouldn't
I wouldn't either. I want him to be part of the team.
want him to be a part of the squad
He's
because
shown that he can be good enough for the team. It's just all about him and his attitude and getting to that level where he comes in and he plays games. As I said, if we're getting rid of Arfield Davis and players like that, we need players to come through, especially homegrown players. And we've got one right there, and I think Lowry, hopefully next season, will start to feature a bit more. Next is Lundstrom. See, if you asked me 2 weeks ago, John Lundstrom was just getting get rid. I've seen John Lundstrom put in 2 quality performances in the last 2 games, right? By all means, am I not saying he's the best thing since sliced bread now, but it looks to me a player that's kind of flipped the switch and thought, right, my career could be done here, and I want to stay here. I personally don't think he's good enough anymore. I think we should be looking elsewhere, and I think it's kind of the position that we're in with Barisic and Arfield Davis at the time, where they've just he's maybe going to stay too long, and it's going to be one of these situations again. I think we should sell Lundstrom personally. But I have seen a bit of decent quality in the past couple of weeks.
I would agree with you. I've seen Lundstrom probably go back to his old self in terms of performance wise. As you say, if you asked us a couple of weeks ago, Sedef was just get rid of him. But I don't know, man. I'm as I said to you, with Davies, it's one of them where
you can't get rid of everything.
Kind of get rid of everything in the one window, and I think if you were going to get rid of Lundstrom, there will be teams in the Championship that'll probably bite your hand off to take him.
But now that I literally despise this guy this season. You know what I mean?
Absolutely despise. But for me, I think he's one that maybe just needs a good pre-season under him. Do you know what I mean? We'll see what happens with Beale and what he hangs. But I'll probably put Lundstrom in the keep.
I think I'm more leaning towards that now as well. I think I'm more leaning towards obviously not selling every day, to be honest.
Absolutely. No selling every day. And the fact that I think if he gets a good run of performances with these last couple of games, and then you know what I mean, pre-season comes whatever year, I don't know, you could maybe see the hang with, but I mean we've seen what he's like, and it's one of them, as you said, where you just get rid of him for hang with. But for me, I would just keep him now.
Aye.
Let him cook. That's all I'm saying for these last couple of games. Let the boy cook.
And the next one is Rabbi Matondo. Rabbi Matondo has obviously came with a lot of promise to Rangers. Sorry,
mate, I know you're going to give the promise and all this. Can I just say, see the abuse this boy was getting and all, by the way? What are we doing? Let's back the boy. Do you know what I mean? He's wearing the boy jersey here. No abuse him. Do you know what I mean? I just think some people are just look to have a go at this guy, personally.
It is one of these situations where people are just waiting for him to be shite.
Absolutely. I feel like he's targeted, do you know what I mean? Like, obviously shown in the glimpses we've seen him where, you know what I mean, you think this guy's not good enough. Do you know what I mean? Give him a proper 16 times that he's been a substitute. How was he supposed to build a run?
It was nice to see him go and get that start yesterday because he's deserved that start.
he looked decent, and I thought, as I say, I think game of the run with like last 5 games.
He could have had 3 assists if Sakala could finish
He
yesterday.
finished, absolutely. But we were
Um,
saying, get him off, Michael. Get him off. No, like, if anybody was to come off, it was Sakala. But for me, I just think fans look to target him, man.
no, 100%. I'm in Rabbi Matondo's corner. I've always been in Rabbi Matondo's corner,
Oh, yeah.
even when he's missing one-on-ones away to Ross County. I have stayed in this guy's corner. I've wanted it to work out so badly for this guy. And the fact that he's still only 22, he's still young, he's still a player that's going to make those mistakes and hopefully learn from it. And I think coming back into the team after injury, I think he's looked like a breath of fresh air in the left wing. We've been absolutely... Kent has been diabolical, right? To see a guy come into the left wing position and actually look threatening when he's going forward, look like he's going to actually beat men, look like he's going to actually create something, look like he's actually interested. That's what I've needed. Ryan Kent just looks like he loses the ball and that's it. Matondo looks like he's come in and he actually wants to play.
He wants to be there. He wants to fight for the jersey. And
exactly, I don't care what anybody says. He's going to be a key for me. He's going to be a player that will hopefully, with a pre-season under him, we can go and judge him next season, see if he comes in and he's just not really lived up to anything. He's not really
that's what I'm saying.
But what I've seen from him in the past sort of 4 or 5 games is like, no, he's seems to be a bit better. And just watching the game, I think, who was it against? St Mirren? He came on. I was dying for him to come on. He eventually did. He was getting the instructions. He held his line. He got a good assist for Morelos. And then just how happy Michael Beale and the coaching staff were at that moment for him to get it. Obviously, Matondo running up to the coaching staff as well and obviously getting the respect there. That's something that has been in my head as well. They're desperate for this guy to succeed.
He's a confidence player. He needs that manager to put the arm around him and give him that lift. That's what I've noticed.
But I 100% agree with you. It's the exact same as Amad Diallo last season. It's a guy I just backed to every single hill possible. Nobody would ever change my opinion on that, and I feel like the same's kind of happened with Rabbi Matondo.
If you as you said, mate, if you'd asked me a couple of months back, I'd have told you sell, get rid of him and sing me. But I'm like, do you know what? No, how about we just back these players that aren't given an opportunity to really properly, do you know what I mean? And let them show us what they can do, because I would much rather watch Rabbi Matondo play the last 5 games than Ryan Kent, who's done
exactly. If Ryan Kent's going to be out the door, Rabbi Matondo's going to be here for pre-season. Play the guy that's going to be here, and 100%. I want to see more for Rabbi and hopefully can keep contributing. McGregor, I can't believe I'm still saying this, but time is up. Time's been up for about a year now. I seen a stat. I think it was most shots faced on target. We are at the bottom of the Scottish Premiership for how many shots we concede for shots on target. And that's just diabolical. He stayed this season too far. He's obviously been half decent this season, but it's just time. It's time to go, because the guy behind him, Robbie McCrory, has had an absolutely fantastic game yesterday, and you're wondering, where's this guy been
locked in the cupboard. But what I was about to say there was, when it comes to when we're doing this podcast 5 years time and we're doing this tier list again and McGregor's still there and we're still going time's up, that'll be interesting. No, McCrory was fantastic yesterday. Definitely plays the remainder of the games. But McGregor, I mean, as I say, I really thought he should have packed it in with the Scottish Cup final. I just thought Everton, it just maybe get subbed on and it just felt like, right, this is the time for McGregor and we'll move on. But McCrory, I mean, last 5 games, chance to impress before the potential of Jack Butland signing and show that maybe he should be the number 1. Obviously, he probably won't be, but I think he's good enough to be the number 2, as I say, McCrory. But because you want to see your academy players succeed, mate, you want to see them in and about the team. But McGregor, his time's up, man.
Time's up, and just as like John McLaughlin as well. I cannot, like, we sat here last year. John McLaughlin was obviously decent rotational goalkeeper coming in and playing the Scottish Cup games and whatever, but his career died the day we played at Celtic Park. That's when his Rangers career should have just been like, oh, John McLaughlin is left by mutual consent, because that performance alone was just worse than anything I've ever seen in my life. Time's up. He'll be going. I think there's been obviously talk about that anyway, where he's going to be going at the end of the season. But John McLaughlin, he's done.
Yeah, I mean, I've just clocked it. We're talking about next night. It's going to be hard not to get emotional with this guy. But I know he's done. He's done.
And then the next guy we're talking about, of course, yesterday was a pretty damn day for Alfredo Morelos, as Michael Beale confirmed that he's going to be gone at the end of the season. There's no way his contract's getting renewed, and when he came on the pitch yesterday, he didn't make a positive impact, according to Michael Beale. And that is true. He didn't, and he's not all season really. He's kind of come on, and he's not really ever looked himself. And you're always dealing with the attitude issues, those issues of being overweight and not being committed to the club and whatever else. But when you actually peel away the layers and think about Alfredo Morelos at Rangers, 2017, he joins for 1 million. Immediately for that day, fans are on his side. He's as we've said before, he's a lot of Rangers fans' first hero. He will leave here with hopefully his head held high. It's just again similar to Borna Barisic. The way he's going to leave the club is just going to be poor for him, because he doesn't deserve to be targeted by Michael Beale and called out like that after everything he's done for the club and what he done for the team to actually win the league when Beale was there. I think we just need to give this guy a bit more respect. I mean, over 100 goals for the club, top goal scorer in Europe and all that stuff. Like, he's came to the club with really no expectation, and he's leaving one of the heroes of this era.
But I'm going to play devil's advocate there as well. There's obviously Beale knows what's going on. Think about Beale as well. He's given him enough chances to maybe, he wants to be here, and Beale's probably frustrated, like we all were yesterday in terms of the final score, because it should have been a hell of a lot more. And that second half was, most of the football was disgusting. And I guarantee it was just one of them where the Beale was a bit too emotional. And I think if you asked Beale, he probably wouldn't have done that. Do you know what I mean? But Morelos, as you say, a lot of young kids watching it, Rangers right now, that's their guy, do you know what I mean? 1 million, and as you say, no expectations. And what we got is just think, Jack, one day you will tell your kids, I watched Alfredo Morelos play football. That's how special Morelos is. That's, I know, for me, do you know what I mean?
He's just one of the guys that you just wish one more. You wish he was more decorated at Rangers. You wish he would.
Christian said one more time.
You wish he had one more. Obviously, he probably, again, I've seen a lot of comments on Twitter for people reacting to what Michael Beale said yesterday, and people will miss this mad bastard. People will miss the controversy in the media. Everybody target him. Everybody.
Just think about it, as you say, what he did for Gerard Ningmi. I say, I'll never forget that, like, Walsall game, man. And then
he was that guy, and it's been unfortunate the way it's played out over the past couple of seasons. But he's a special player for the club. He'll be one of the players I'll remember fondly.
My question is, where does he go now? Because for me, I personally, I don't know where he goes. I think maybe Spain, Turkey, maybe, I don't know. But where does Morelos?
I could see him staying in Europe, definitely. I could see him still playing out that. I can't really see. Again, similar to a lot of the players, we had Lille offering us £16 million for him, and we turned it down. Like, it probably should have been that time where he went. But obviously we've kept him for another couple of seasons, and we're leaving him. He's leaving for free. It's like it's a sore one.
It's also how emotionally attached you get to him. Do you know what I mean? In terms of, you're like, I don't want him to go. Even you could offer me $100. I'm not taking it, but to say, I hope he goes out one last time with a knee slide and hearing the Alfredo Morelos chant, because
he's one of the players you're going to miss, definitely, the club. There's no qualms about it.
Time's up for us, boy.
We've spoke about Nnamdi off air. We've spoke about it. It's unfortunate what's happened with his situation, but it's one of those times where, like, if you're sitting here with no really real information on it, why keep him about? It's time's up for Nnamdi. Nicholas Raskin,
yep.
Of course, he's going to be staying at the club. Again, breath of fresh air, much like Todd Cantwell. And he's just kind of made the midfield his own, really, since he's came.
He has. I know he annoyed some of the fan base with his comments about season Rangers as a stepping stone to get to the Premier League and what have you. I don't mind that. He should have big ambitions, especially if you're playing for the club. But he's been really top draw so far, what we've seen. A bit difficult when him and Lundstrom play together, because obviously they want to do the same job. But I'm enjoying Raskin so far, man. My guy, my dog, Kemal Rufu.
Definitely a guy who's going to keep improving as time goes on. He's still really early in his Rangers career, and the signs are good so far. And you hope with a new look Rangers team, he's going to be a real focal point of that team. So excited to see Raskin next season. Kemar Roof is one of those ones.
Finally.
It's time up for Kemar Roof. It's really annoying because he's such a good football player. It's just you don't see him actually playing football enough, which is the annoying part.
Absolutely. We've got all love in the world for Kemar Roof. It's just the injuries, as I say. And as I say, if we're going to sit here and say Hollander's stealing our wage or your boy that we signed for Bournemouth, then it's fair to say with Kemar as well. You know what I mean? We can't just keep having players, do you know what I mean, being injured and what have you. But Kemar, if he's a quality player, do you know what I mean? Wherever he ends up, he'll definitely put the ball in the net.
Exactly. That's if he actually gets fit, though, because it's been one thing after
Well,
another.
imagine we keep him, right? Imagine we keep Kemar Roof and he has a fit full season. Do you know what I mean? My boy puts the ball in the back of the net. You know what I mean?
I doubt that would happen, but
I'll pray
again,
to God tonight.
he's a good player.
I'll pray the night to Buddha, to whoever I need to pray to, Kemar Roof to have a fit full season. Do you know what I mean? For Michael Beale putting the ball in the net.
But aye. Next one, Ryan Jack. Similar in terms of Kemar Roof, obviously plays more. Out of contract, of course. Ryan Jack's going to stay.
He's staying. It's another year for Ryan Jack, and that's it for me personally. If we're no having improvement in terms of that, I think he obviously will be gone, but he definitely gets another year.
Nah, he gets another year because he's obviously a good player. Obviously, again, really unlucky with injuries, really unlucky with how it's kind of panned out the rest of the season. But again, quality midfielder when he plays, he adds to that European homegrown quota as well. So that's another bonus. But we'll need to see how it goes for Ryan Jack, and then on to Ryan Kent next.
Let's get to him. Do you know what I mean? It's your time's gone, pal. Your time's done. I've seen nothing really. I'll be honest. You've not shown me you care about the club in terms of your performances. Do you know what I mean? You should be, for me, there should be a hell of a lot more assists there. Do you know what I mean? Than what there has been. You think about the fee we paid for him and how good he was when he first came up, and the fear that Celtic players used to have in when they play against us when Ryan Kent was on the ball. I don't see it anymore. I just see a guy that loses the ball and is just like, I don't really care. I'm going to Turkey to smoke the pipe and play for Fenerbahce. So I'm just like, I'm so over this guy, man. I really am. Do you know what I mean? I'm more heartbreaking with Morelos leaving. With Ryan Kent, I'm like, I don't really care. I'm so happy he's gone. You know, when Pep's like, I'm so happy. That's me when Ryan Kent leaves, because I'm really done with this guy, man. He's so frustrating to watch. It really is.
Nah, and again, for the amount of money you pay for him, for the amount of return you get in terms of goals, I mean, it's not being good enough for Ryan Kent. You've kind of held him a bit of leeway because he's obviously always going to be a threat for you. But this season has just shown that he's not up to it anymore. He's not bothered about Rangers anymore. And the fact that we've let him run his contract down is another mess in its own.
That's the one. Listen, look, that's the one that annoys me the most. Do you know what I mean? How did we let that guy run his contract down? He was supposed to be the star signing, the main man, and we're just going to let him go for free. We should be getting a bit of money for him at least. Do you know what I mean? And that's the one that annoys me the most in terms of we're not getting money for him. But at the end of the day, I'm happy to see him go. I really do.
It's time. It's time to go. It's time to
last.
Time to get somebody else in the left wing. That's why it's so refreshing to see somebody like Matondo just play there, because I've seen Kent play there for like 5 years and he's never been able to be dropped. It's like,
well, I was about to say there, mate. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, what we would hang with yesterday with Morelos. I'd have loved it if he'd done it to Ryan Kent, but Ryan Kent's a golden boy. Do you know what I mean? Even when Gerrard was here, do you know what I mean? He was a golden boy. Never get criticised, getting nothing. Do you know what I mean? When everyone was hanging Kent, he never get criticised or nothing for Gerrard and that. So, do you know what I mean? Maybe Bill won't do it in public, but if you're going to date Morelos, you should date to him and all. Do you know what I mean? Fenerbahce as well. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, it's just again really sad how it panned out for Ryan Kent, but he'll be going as well in the summer, and it's going to be It's going to be a new look team.
Not even I'm so done with this.
Fashion Sakala. If you said to me again, Fashion Sakala a couple of weeks ago, he's a guy who is always energetic. He always contributes with goals, assists, but missing 2 open goals in the 2 biggest games this season, plus not being able to score yesterday as well. I mean, how many chances did you have? He's a guy that has to go. You cannot rely on people like that to play. You just need to sell him.
I just get rid of him. Can't play for, but do you know what I mean? Just get rid of the guy.
You just need to get rid of him. And then Scott Wright is another one.
Impressed me yesterday. Impressed me when he came on. Obviously, it's a definite sell, but I thought he.
But then that's one of the biggest things for Scott Wright. Look, you look at how Ryan Kent has just looked not arse, right? Scott Wright always comes on and tries to make an impact. He always tries. That's the one thing you want. If you're putting on a Rangers shirt, at least try.
Do you know why?
And Scott Wright will leave. Never been good enough. Always been one of these signings. You're kind of like, why did we even make that deal?
They get a game for Aberdeen.
But he's always tried, and that's all you can really ask for. He's not good enough, and we'll sell him.
Absolutely, but I thought he also tried against Aberdeen because maybe that's where he's going, and we're going to take Aberdeen's star man off them with a deal, maybe. You know what I mean? A bit of money and Scott, right there you go. He's the boy took over. But aye, he hang with me. He impressed me.
I know he was decent yesterday when he came on, but again, this is just one of these.
Is that because he's going to Aberdeen, but
this is one of these dead games, isn't it? It's just like
I mean, when he always tried, but just never good enough, and I'll never forget. Just anytime he took a man on, but you knew the outcome. Do you know what I mean? And
I know, and aye, that's just nothing I get. He's just not good enough, and he'll move on. But Souttar's impressed me since he's come back into the team. Obviously, he's had a couple of shaky moments, but for me, he looks more and more assured and comfortable at centre half than Ben Davies does. And I think again another Scottish player that we're going to need for that European quota. And I think he's hopefully going to be fit for the rest of the season. We can get a good pre-season.
Yeah, get a run in there. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I'm feeling like I've been a bit too harsh on him already, as I say. But I think if he shows us the last couple of games, you know what I mean? Because I think for me, I think I'd probably go him and Goldson as well. But I think a good pre-season under his belt, you never know. If not, he's probably a good rotational centre half for me as well.
No, he's decent. Definitely a guy you
definitely
keep him about. And then the next one is to the captain, James Tavernier. I mean, there's been more and more people saying just it's time to go, but the realistic part is he's not going to be going anywhere.
I mean, can we just put Yilmaz and keep, because we already know we're keeping him. There's no.
Nah, of course. Just to briefly speak on Yilmaz, as we already said, good performance from yesterday. You want to see him just get more game time towards the end of the season, playing another Old Firm game for the start. Like a lot of the players that played yesterday, I want to see if they can go and handle that now. Pressure's kind of off in terms of, obviously there's nothing to play for, but you need to go and beat Celtic. And you want the players that are going to be here next season to go and play in that games and show that they can compete in that fixture. So for me, Yilmaz really impressed him, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in the game on Saturday. Tavernier, as we said,
a controversial one, man. As you're saying, sorry mate, hang with you, but no, I'm assuming you just keep Yilmaz. But I mean, it's obviously a keep. But there's no chance we get rid of him. I just think Tavernier stays here until his days are done with football. Really. His performance levels, have they been good enough? No. You think about in the Old Firm, contributing with a sensational free kick, and obviously getting 100 goals this season. So I mean, there's that point as well. But he's also going to be staying.
His performance levels across the board haven't been good enough. He's obviously contributed to goals and assists. Like, you're accustomed to seeing that for Tavernier. You know he's going to get 10 plus goals a season. And he's featured good in that, but he's obviously won his games at times and got his back into games, and he looks like the only player that's kind of driving you forward at times and when your backs are up against the wall. But you need his performance to be better. I thought he was really poor yesterday against Aberdeen. It's kind of games like that where he's kind of petered away and he's not really been on form. But Tavernier, we just need to get to the end of the season. We need to get competition in as well, definitely. I don't think Divine's the answer to go and push him for that spot now. I think we really need another young fullback to come in there and go and push him.
That's why I'm saying I like that boy from Man United. Obviously, he probably more naturally wants to be a left back, but just to let Tavernier know as well here, by the way, this guy can play both, and he can give you a wee push. I just want somebody to come in and challenge him.
Yeah, but the thing I like, obviously, a bit of a spoiler for the video we're going to go and do in the future. Max Johnson from Motherwell, 19-year-old fullback, Scottish. He's performed really well this season for Motherwell, and he's available for a free transfer in the summer. Why not go and grab him? Why not go
him.
and grab him to go and push Tavernier on? He obviously fits the bill for what we need for in terms of Scottish players. He's looked really good this season. Just go and get him in a free transfer. I'm sure he would bite your hand off to come to Rangers. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, okay, mate. But nah, Tavernier's obviously one that's going to be staying. He's one of them. Do you know what I mean? How do you like when you look at Tav? You think to yourself, obviously Rangers Hall of Famer now, but how do you think Tav's like actually going to be remembered? See, when I look at him, I'm like, how are you actually going to be remembered, mate? Do you know what I mean? Because in terms of everything he's doing right now, do you know what I mean? He'd probably, but would you class him as a modern day Rangers legend?
I know that's the thing. I don't think you would give him that tagline because of how much trophies we've won. I don't think you can. But obviously, he's been a good goal scorer. He's a good contributor. Aye.
You know what I mean? You think about that, but then you think to yourself, but what, one league title?
Exactly, and that needs to change next season. If he's to go and captain the team next season, that needs to change. I mean, to win the league. So
I mean, if there's more trophies there, do you know what I mean? 100%. But I just think
aye.
I want to see Tavernier being pushed. That's what I really think Tavernier needs. He needs somebody to give him competition and push him. And he needs the people's captain to go, thanks for holding that for me for quite a while, but he's that armband. It's maybe just you need that off you and a wee massage there, mate. Because who's Conor Gilson or the captain? I just look at that every time. I'm like, he's a guy you hear all the time, but no, this is probably the controversial one we're getting to now, isn't it?
Probably a good one to leave to last. I mean, I put up a tweet about it last week and got a lot of mixed opinions on it. Got obviously a lot for it, a lot against it, maybe some in the middle. Malik Tillman, for me, my opinions have never changed. We need to sign him. If the rumour is £5 million that we can go and sign him for, 100%. I mean, you look at Kent's first season on loan at Rangers, can't remember his stats off the top of my head, but I mean, Tillman, 12 goals, 5 assists in his preliminary season, his first proper season as a pro footballer, getting those numbers and just kind of on the brink of the US team as well. I mean, we went and signed Kent for $7.5 million for what he done in his first season. Malik Tillman's available there and he's scoring goals, he's assisting goals, a threat, and he's still young. We're buying into that potential and he's shown that he can go and come here and do it in a season. You just need him to go and perform in the bigger games now if he does come back. And I think Beale's been kind of open about it. He wants him back. He wants to work with him. I think the club like him. It's all just down to Malik Tillman now, and if he wants to come back here and play his football, and I think it'd be a really good place for him to come and play. Obviously, he's going to be one of the. I mean, at 20 years old now, he's going to be one of the main team players in this team. If this is the way it goes, and all of these players go, so for me, he's a guy 100%. I'm not turning my back and changing my mind on Malik Tillman. It was really sad when he went off, obviously in tears the other day, and never really got to make his impact in the Old Firm game. But I think these games will come back for him and hopefully can go make an impact in them and with a better team around him as well. Michael Beale's ideas in pre-season for a full pre-season getting through to him. For me, I think Malik Tillman is a no-brainer, especially in the future as well. If you're going to go and then make profit on him, that's obviously maybe a long way down the line, but I don't see there's any way we don't make profit on this guy if he keeps on going at the trajectory he's going.
I agree with everything you say. It's just for me, I don't think he wants to sign. I don't think he wants to sign, personally. I'd sign him in a heartbeat. I'm the same as you, everything you've said, I agree with. I don't know. I think it's maybe, he seems like one of those players, obviously, because he's 20 as well. Do you know what I mean? Got to take that into consideration. Maybe his agent says to him, but this kind of team for the Premier League might want you. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I just think his head could maybe be turned. To me, it's the smartest decision on both parties for us as a club and for him as a player. Come up here for a couple of seasons, win trophies, fight to win trophies. Do you know what I mean? And potentially go back to Bayern Munich, where you're going to obviously be in that winning mentality. Do you know what I mean? You're obviously coming from that as well. But I just think it's up to Malik, and only he'll really know what he wants to do. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, wasn't an easy start for him as well. You think about when he came in, a lot of people weren't really convinced, but it's shown that he is a good enough player in the big games. I mean, that's only going to come with time, as you say. Do you know what I mean? First season properly, and they put all the pressure on him. Do you know what I mean? I kind of think it's a bit unfair as well. I think you've got to, at the end of the day, it's the full team. It's not just Malik Tillman. I'd like to see him maybe played as a forward, just as a striker, solo striker. I think that would benefit him a lot. But I just think it's up to Malik and what he wants to do. I would sign him. I think it's a no-brainer. 7 million we paid for Kent, you know what I mean? Fuck.
Exactly. That's kind of something I've been thinking about over the discussion about him signing back. Is like
That
obviously
one
we
Kent
went and played that.
never had that last haircut, man. You're like,
Aye.
you.
Aye, that's the biggest thing. It's up to Tillman to see what he come play at Rangers. That's going to be the biggest question marks over the deal. I think everything else is kind of agreed. It's just up to him. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that one. But
yeah, I think as I say, yeah, everything you've said, I agree with you. Just it's him, as I say. I don't know, you know how football works, you know what I mean, and how agents maybe getting into people's head and convince them to go elsewhere. But it's a no-brainer. It makes all the sense in the world for him to come here. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, definitely, and that kind of spells the end of the list. Kind of waited a while to do that video.
I've been waiting, honestly.
And it's done now. I mean, we're left with Cantwell, Devine, Goldson, Lawrence, Hadji, possibly King, Lowry,
Bring all
Lundstrom,
the players for the
Matondo.
championship in. Go on, Michael Beale. You know you want to do it. I mean, it's just what a disastrous season it really has been, man. And I really hope it's got to be turned around. There's no more excuses now. Do you know what I mean? We've got new people at the helm. Do you know what I mean? And it seems like they're going to make the changes, the right changes, for the club, because we shouldn't be in this situation. We all know we shouldn't be in this situation. We should be sitting here with a hell of a lot more trophies than what we have. But I'm just wanting the summer now. Do you know what I mean? Because that game yesterday was absolutely torturous to watch at times. Some of the diabolical, and it just took a bit of brilliance there for Cadwell, just the timing, just to get that ball in the back of the net. As I say, come on, bro, give a wee dance. Do you know what I mean? But nah, just want the season over now, as I say.
Nah, just get it done. Just let me start thinking about these signings. I'm getting that's the thing I'm getting excited about, is the players that we're possibly getting linked with.
Who's the latest boy for Birmingham or something for Arsenal?
Aye, Austin Trusty. He's a 24-year-old centre half, American. Signed for Colorado Rapids last season, I think it was, to Arsenal. They loaned him out to Birmingham. He's had a really good season there. Centre half, left-footed centre half as well, which kind of, if we're looking in that market, spells to me Ben Davies is gone. The rumours fee is Rangers are kind of looking to make him their main target and get it done for about 2 million. But reading the people who know more about him for Birmingham, Arsenal, and in America as well, people are saying that will be really hard to get done for 2 million. They say he's a better player than that's been valued. So definitely the kind of market you want to be looking at. For me, it's 100% if we can sign him. Aye, but that's going to be another one to sort of keep your eye on. Looks like Kieran Dowell's a done deal. That's just going to kind of be announced.
You're looking at him being a done deal. You're looking at Butland being a done deal. I mean, for this American boy, I mean, look, listen, we'll give you a cup, we'll give you 2 million, we'll give you Scott Wright, better than Messi. All right, we'll give you him. No, I just want to see new faces in the team now, because it's getting boring looking at the same. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's why I'm excited for. I'm obviously really disappointed how the season's went, but I'm looking forward to a fresh start, a fresh era at Rangers.
What about that Whitaker boy? We still linked with him?
That'll be one that we probably will be linked to, but we need to be aiming our heights higher than that. We can't be.
See, when you think about it, see when you, as I say, you say who was that club that boy signed for? What was it, Roma? We were all looking at. Jose Mourinho went and signed them. They played.
Soul backing.
You look at teams like that and the quality they've got. You'd be biting your hand to take them off, and it's the same in the Belgian league, as I say. Do you know what I mean? Look at some of the players around Europe. You just think yourself, get them in. Get them going for a couple of seasons, then sell them off, rinse, repeat. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's the model we need to run, and it's going to be the model we're probably going to need to run with Raskin and stuff. So, Joe Aribo's probably more likely, isn't he? At this point. So, aye, we'll see how the season goes. But that's our list. If you did enjoy it, like, subscribe, and share. I don't know what we'll be up to towards the end of the season, because there's really nothing else to look at.
Probably scouting.
Probably the players that we're going to be linked to and who we want to sign. So we'll probably be making videos on that as well. We'll do a video after the Old Firm game as well. So, as always, we'll see you then.